Today you can call me Johnny fucking Appleseed, yo. I like apple trees. I don't like spending $20 to $50 a tree. I think that's stupid, especially when there's seeds inside every apple. But the problem is, apples are not gene specific to the tree. Meaning, I have a green apple today, I eat it, I plant the seeds. If the seeds grow, because a lot of hybrids are sterile, but if the seeds grow, this could be a red apple, it could be a red delicious, it could be a gala, it could be one of the other, 78 different types of apples in the world. It could be one of any of those. It's like pure random. But then I found out the worst part is, like I said, a lot of them, you plant the apple in the ground, nothing will grow because the seeds are sterile and they're not all from viable heirloom trees. So how do you find out which ones are? Because I wanted to plant some apple trees in my out back, but I wanted them to grow, and if something else eats the apples, I want more apple trees to grow in the wild, for the deer and shit. And so I decided, well, I'll just find seeds that germinate. Because if I have an apple and I save the seeds out of it, and those seeds germinate, that means that tree was a viable tree and an heirloom tree because it has fire. So now the problem I found out was you can't just take apple seeds and stick them in the ground in a little pot and put them in your grow tent and they won't grow. They just won't germinate. It seems that apple seeds are very smart for a seed. They have to be chilled, like winter over. So if the seed gets cold and stays cold long enough that then it knows to warm up at the slightest opportunity, and meaning springtime. That way the seed doesn't fall in the fall in the apple and start to grow and then get buried with a foot of snow. And it's pretty fucking smart for a seed. So I found the best way to do it is this. What I've done is I took a paper towel, folded it, put some apple seeds in it, wetted it, put it inside a half Ziploc bag. You don't have to use one with Mickey on it. It's just that I have a small child, so that's what we use. And the seeds have already started sprouting through. This sat in the fridge for 4 months. I was going to take it out 4 months. Oh, shit. 6 months. I was going to take it out sometime next week or so and put them in dirt, but I happened to look at the package and see that the roots were sticking the package up. It didn't even wait till it got warm. Just sitting in the fridge was long enough cold, it decided it's time to fucking grow and started to grow. So we're going to just plant these seeds into these because we're going to grow apple trees in them because these will be perfect for the seedlings. I noticed last time when I did one that the apple seedlings tend to grow one major root tapper and a few other taps on the side. That's where these would be perfect because I can fill this mainly with, the idea is I'll poke some holes in the bottom, put some rocks in here, put the sponges, put some soil, put the seedling at the top, put it in the grow tent. Put these all in one container with some water. That's why I got the rocks, so the water can drain out but yet drain back in. The tree will grow one taproot down through the middle and pile up at the bottom, and then come spring in a couple months, I'll take it outside, I'll just rip the bottom off and put it right into the ground. And the tree will do the rest because it's just cardboard. And I'll just take the bottom off because it's metal, and that way it'll shoot out the bottom right away. So let's get started with this. I guess first thing I need to do is poke some holes. Apples are my favorite tree, not because of the wood, but because of the food. I like when trees produce food. Now I'm going to put some lava rocks in them. I just picked these up at the local gardening store. There was a big bag of them. This is what's left in the bag, so it's kind of the small ones. But just lava rocks. These little holes in there will hold some water, and it gives something for the tree root to bind into and break apart. And they do absorb some of the nutrients out of the rocks. I forget what nutrients. I think it's iron. I think that's why they're red or something. I don't fucking know. I ain't a chemist. Alright. So I filled them up to about here with lava rocks. Now I'm going to take this trick of using sponges. I got 5 tubes and 4 sponges. I'm not doing the math. I'm going to come one smaller. So let's see, I took 2, cut them in half again, cut them in half again. And there was 4 of them to start with. So how many squares are there total here? You can either count or you can make Ray do the math for you. You can either count or you can make Ray do the math for you. I got 2 extra. Fuck it. No, I'll save these for the next plant I got. Okay. Now, soil. You have 2 options really in life. You have potting soil or you have topsoil. Neither one is correct for this. Here's what I found out from previous. If you use just potting soil, for some reason, apple trees don't like it. I assume it's like too rich in nutrients. When you go to transplant it then to the middle of a yard, that's when it will start to grow better. So it grows better with less nutrients, but yet it still needs the nutrients there to begin with. So what I like to do is I mix it. And I don't mix it in the bags because then you're stuck with it. I take a scoop of one, put it down, a couple scoops of the other, put it down, another scoop of the other. So I treat this as a fertilizer and this as a normal soil. You'll see. Now also, someone misplaced my special cup, so I don't have a cottage cheese container, so I'm using just a blue container today. Don't be alarmed. But just take a cup of anything, throw some soil in it, and potting mix. Wow, this is extremely dry. This has been sitting in the garage all winter. It's dried out a bit. And once again, I wouldn't buy this brand because it has way too much lumber in it. Unless you're looking to start a campfire. That would be Scott's brand top soil if you wanted to know. The brand I do not like anymore. Why don't I like it anymore? Because I used it once. The tree we planted last time outside is doing pretty good. We'll show you that when these go in the ground because a couple of them are going to go near it. If they live, you know. There's 5 of them here. A couple could die. I'd be happy if just 2 of them made it to actually in the ground to produce fruit. Considering it came from just 1 apple, that I ate the apple. All right, now I put some of this crappy soil in. Now I'm going to put some of the potting soil in. That way it doesn't get too strong of nutrients. Now since these are full, I'm going to water them and sink them down a bit. Let me get my water. Forgot to do that. All right. So we add a little water to each one. At first the soil's going to be hydrophobic and the water's just going to pool on top. Eventually it'll start absorbing in. But you don't want to try to stuff seedlings in very dry soil like this. It would suck all the life right out of them. All the moisture, they would just dehydrate. All right, it's starting to leak out the bottom now. So, now let's see how they actually look. Going to gently open this, which means rip the fuck out of the paper towel. Try to peel it away. Gotta be real gentle. These are some good sprouts. See how the seed is nice? It's a good one with the seed and the sprout root. You want to, of course, put the root down, and that just at the surface. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take a screwdriver and poke a hole in the middle and then put the seed that way and kind of pinch it tight around it. But since I have more seeds than I do containers, I'm going to put a couple seeds in each container, and just in case a few of them die. Let's try this now. It puts the screwdriver in the soil. Oh, it's still very dry. And let's pack it down a little bit too. Add a little more on top. It's sunk underneath, but didn't on top. I don't understand why people wear gloves when doing potting and soil. I don't want to get dirt on me. It's dirt. It's how you connect with nature. You know, they're worried about germs. Well, then you shouldn't be eating the food that it comes out of if you're worried about the germs and the dirt. Not that I'm taking handfuls of mud for breakfast, but can't tell me that touching it makes you sick that often. Maybe in the rare cases, or if you're already like sick because you're immunocompromised. Once again, I'll use my proper tool for the proper job. That'd be a screwdriver. Screwdriver. I like the screwdriver over the finger because it packs down around the top edge a little bit. Alright, now if I think I put 2, 4, these two are kind of grown together. These two are grown together. Okay, I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Well, one of them goes by itself. That'd be you. You're the loner. The loner. You can go by yourself right here. The other two can go together here. Notice it doesn't matter if you leave that little bit of paper towel there. I mean, the reason I did is the roots were embedded down in it. If they're not, I remove them from it. And once again, I'm trying to bury them with just the neck, because these are already too far germinated to pick growth. To pick which way they're going to grow. They've already determined it. The first leaves are about to open, so I should have took them out of the seeds a couple weeks ago. I didn't know they were this far along. They normally aren't unless they get warm. Hope that doesn't mean my refrigerator's dying at home. That'd be all I need. Try and cover them so they don't be covered any. Get just the right amount of dirt over them, but not burying them. That's where you're using the watering can and flooding it a little bit. Helps. If I'm putting my finger right on top, keeps them from getting totally buried. All right. These are transplanted. You can see where the necks are just starting to come up. The next part is the leaves. If I put my finger on the top of it when I was watered, the soil buried the rest real good. And oh, that's nasty water down there, right? That's nasty, I agree. You don't want nasty shit like that. So I got a second container. And it's real easy to just lift these up and put them in here. Yeah, there's some dirt on them. Yep, the bottoms are gonna rot out. That's the idea. That's what I'm hoping for. In a month or two, these bottoms will rot out. And I'll be able to stick them right in the dirt. And they'll be good to go. And I'll just peel them right off. This I'm going to dump out. And that's it. I'm going to put these in the grow tent now. You guys want to see how the grow tent looks? Told you it's in between harvest season. We just got a big round off the flowers. They die back. And then we let them come back through. Put them in the center. All the lights, they'll get plenty of light. And they'll start to grow soon. So hopefully in 2 months, they'll be strong enough, little seedlings, I can put a cage around them, put them outside, and keep the rabbits off of them. And then by the next couple years, 5 years or so, there'll be apples on them. I'm not going to prune them back or make them grow low or anything like apple trees. I like when an apple tree grows big and round like a fucking oak. And you can pick a few of the apples on the bottom. The birds get the rest on the top and the squirrels. Some falls down for the bees. That's called nature. You know, you don't need all the apples if they're up tall, and you get plenty that's down below. You know, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, and with that, puff, puff, pass, no parking on the grass. I'm out of here. So the historical story of Johnny Appleseed's kind of funny and greatly told wrong. So I grew up in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Johnny Appleseed came through Indiana. So they have like big festivals for it and everything. And they try to make him out as some folk hero that wore a pot for a hat and went around planting apple seeds randomly in fields and made his way from Pennsylvania through Indiana, Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois. That's the myth. The reality of the situation was that, yes, he did plant apple orchards, but there's a catch. You see, at the time, the government said that you could have any land as long as you produced it for a production thing. And one of the things was making apple cider for the alcohol. So to do that, you'd need an apple orchard, which means you needed at least 50 trees on your land. Didn't matter how much land you had, as long as you had 50 apple trees planted, and then it was down to like 12 towards the end was the requirement. As long as you had like these trees planted, then you could claim this chunk of land as yours and that you're homesteading it, and you wouldn't have to pay any tax. So what Johnny Appleseed did was he was paid by a group of people to go out west, which was Ohio, and then Indiana, and then Illinois, as these were the frontiers of out west. You know, it's uncivilized past there. And they would go out, and he would clear the land, which means he really found clearings in the land that were big enough to put 50 fucking seedlings in. And then he would sell off so many acres around it with that orchard in there as, boom, apple orchard land. and he'd sell it off as he already claimed it. And then he'd give that money back to his people back east, and he'd keep his portion that they would put away for him, and then he'd move to the next section. So yes, he did plant apple trees, but it was really for a tax scam from the government. So then they make a folk hero out of it. Now you know the rest of the story.